way of working capital flow is not being fully utilized by the industry. Mr. Akhilesh Kumar has also joined. Hello, Mr. Akhilesh Kumar. RXIL. Are you able to hear me out? Akhilesh ji, you are on mute.
Yeah, I've just unmuted myself. Good evening.
Good evening. Good afternoon. Kaise?
Good afternoon, Mr. Akhilesh.
So TReDS is also playing a very big role in fact.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah.
There is, I think, some problem with Mr. Akhilesh Kumar's audio.
He was there just now. He talked to me.
No, sir. He
was Mr. Dinesh Chandra.
Dinesh Chandra, yeah.
Okay. So let him rejoin, Mr. Akhilesh Kumar.
Sure.
Akhilesh ji, you can rejoin. You can log off and then rejoin. Maybe there is some problem.
I was recently in Hyderabad.
Okay.
And there on the State Bank Day, 1st of July, I addressed MSMEs in Cyberabad, upcoming part of Hyderabad.
Okay.
So, yesterday, I got a call from one of the participants, MSME, Mr. Dinesh Chandra, who was just here. And while talking, when he came to know, he said he would like to join in other MSMEs. They have in Hyderabad various groups. So he is there. I think there are other MSMEs based in Hyderabad also.
Okay. So we will take him, in fact, his views in case he wants to speak. Dinesh ji, are you there?
Morning. I'm Sachindra. I'm also from Hyderabad.
Okay.
So we are also into a small scale unit actually into honey-based products and natural organic products.
Okay.
And so also into thank you, sir. We are also into videography and making of product videos, corporate videos, promotional videos, ad commercials. So both are small MSMEs, sir. Recently, we got registered on the Udyam also.
I see.
That just to introduce myself and a brief background about us.
Good.
So since Sinhaji said he was in Hyderabad, so I'm also from Hyderabad. So just wanted to.
Good. And meanwhile, has Mr. Akhilesh Kumar joined?
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Thank you.
Good afternoon to all. Sorry, they were, I think, having a connection issue.
So we will be starting the session soon.
Yeah.
I think Priyanka is waiting for maybe some more people to join.
Just 1 more minute, sir.
Yeah, sure. Take your time. Maybe 1 or 2 minutes is not a problem. We are in any case discussing the issue.
Yes, sir.
Preliminary issues, in fact, associated with the subject today. As I was talking earlier, the invoice discounting and bill discounting is a very, very convenient way of, in fact, improving the credit flow, particularly to the MSME sector. The banks continue to look after good clients. In fact, they keep coming to me, various banks, that they want good clients, good, in fact, expand their portfolio of credit. And I always suggest them that bill discounting is one of the finest ways of, which is legally protected under the Negotiable Instrument Act. And this can be a proper way of increasing the credit flow to any enterprise, whether small, medium, large, or any kind of business or manufacturing or service enterprise.
Correct. Right said, sir.
So we will be talking about this subject shortly.
I'm happy that Mr. Akhilesh from RXIL is there.
Yes.
Earlier, on 2 occasions, with Mr. Gaikwad, CEO, I had the opportunity to be a moderator panelist in Mumbai. So it's good that from RXIL, which is one of the 3 first bodies to have been licensed by RBI for this trade discounting facility.
So yes, in fact, Mr. Gaikwad also keeps coming depending upon his convenience and schedule. But in fact, RXIL has taken off very well in implementing the TReDS platform, and a lot more people are joining. We will know, in fact, from Akhilesh Kumarji as to what is the status now. We have given recommendations to the Government of India that all companies more than 250 crore should be compulsorily required to register on TReDS. Because as of now, there is a advisory by the government for companies of more than 500 crore only.
Correct.
And still all of them have not registered. Even the government PSUs have not yet registered.
Right.
So we have requested the government, in fact, I met the ministry people and requested them, including the Planning Commission, Niti Aayog, that they should, because now MSME definition is 250 crore. So all those beyond 250 crore are large enterprises, corporates and large companies. So why not all of them are given the direction?
Yeah, it's quite logical. That will make this digital platform more comprehensive.
Yes. Yes. Because the main issue of increasing the portfolio under the TReDS is non-registration of these buyers, corporates, because they have to, commit over the platform and take the liability of payment on the due date. So that which they don't want to do. So that is the biggest hurdle, in fact, in the expansion of TReDS. So Priyanka, please tell us, when do we start?
Yes, sir, we can start now. I think meanwhile people are joining, so I will recommend them.
Yes.
But
So
we
you can start now with the
Yes, sir.
introduction.
We'll start with a brief introduction of Part 2 SME.
Yes.
So good afternoon, eminent panelists, distinguished audience. Thank you for joining us for today's important virtual session organized by Power 2 SME. The topic is invoice and bill discounting for MSMEs. And to discuss a convenient mode of raising finance in the MSME sector, we have with us an esteemed panel of speakers, such as leading the session is our chair, who needs no introduction, Dr. H.P. Kumar, sir. Dr. Kumar is the former chairperson cum managing director of the National Small Industry Corporation Limited and currently serves as the Director of External Affairs at Part 2 SME. Joining him is Dr. Rajendra K. Sinha, widely known as the MSME Finance Guru. He is the founder of MSMEadvisor.com and the chairperson of Center of Excellence in Banking at Jagdish Sheth School of Management, JAGSR. Additionally, we have Mr. Akhilesh Kumar with us. He's a seasoned professional in the field of finance and Regional Head North, Receivable Exchange of India Limited, widely known as RXIL. Before I hand over the session to Dr. Kumar, I would like to give you a brief introduction of Power 2 SME Limited. Founded by Mr. R. Narayan and headquartered in Gurgaon, Power 2 SME is an embedded finance company focused on MSMEs and providing finance for raw material to SMEs and blue chip companies. It has multiple branches across the country, including Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, Ahmedabad, Pune, and more. Having started operations in 2012, Power 2 SME missions empower SMEs to enable the India growth story, underscores its commitment to enhancing the productivity and business value of small enterprises. Power 2 SME plays a crucial role in financing SMEs and sourcing raw materials at economical prices in categories like chemical, yarn, paint, metal, polymer, and more. enabling SMEs to focus on their core business and enhance growth in revenue and development. To know more about Power to SME, you can log in to our website, which is www.power2sme.com. And now I am pleased to hand over the session to Dr. Kumar. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you very much. And my greetings to the distinguished panelists, Mr. Sinha and Mr. Akhilesh Kumar. Both of them very eminent, in fact, experts in the field of finance and banking particularly, and dealing with the MSME sector. So, and also my greetings to all the distinguished participants. In fact, we are going to discuss this issue of invoice and bills discounting today, which is, as I was talking earlier, which is a very convenient mode of financing by banks and other institutions, NBFCs and other financial institutions to the sellers, primarily micro, small, medium enterprises, but it is applicable for even large corporates also. In fact, bill discounting is a very traditional and very old way of raising finance since the banking operations started. Because this is a part of the working capital finance. The bill is made by the seller on the buyer in a particular format, which is as per the Negotiable Instrument Act. And bill of exchange is defined and classified as one of the instruments in the Negotiable Instruments Act, which helps, in fact, in raising credit. I mean, transactions between seller and the buyer for providing, any service or material on credit and raising the bill to receive the payment at a later date. Now, the bill could be bill of exchange. When I am talking of bill, I am talking of bill of exchange. Bill of exchange could be, a clean bill of exchange also. Not necessarily that it is, backed by a invoice. Most of the time, in bill of exchange, which is discounted, should have the intrinsic transaction backed by some transaction of sales or providing services. Therefore, the invoice becomes an integral part of the bill of exchange. But it is not necessary. There is a classification of clean bills also, which are not backed by the document of invoice. On the other hand, I would say that even the invoice alone also can be discounted without the bill of exchange. So sometimes both are independent, and most of the time both get integrated. Only invoice also gets discounted. I would say not discounted, but financed by the banks and institutions as a book debt financing, because in the book debt financing, what the banks and institutions need is the evidence of the book debts, the transactions of the book debts. So invoices play a very important role in that. But invoice as such is not any kind of a legal document which can be covered under the Negotiable Instruments Act. So for that, all other documentation will have to be required, like a clean financing backed by book debts. It's not a clean financing, but book debts becomes the security in case of invoice financing. So talking about the bills of exchange is a wonderful way of raising finance. It is, as I said, it is in the prescribed format. It is very beneficial once the seller raises the bill in the prescribed format and attaches the invoice along with that. On the buyer needs to accept that, because bill of exchange, bill of exchange can be a demand bill also. I mean, that doesn't have a credit period. So in that case, there is no need of discounting that kind of a bill of exchange, because the moment it is shown to the buyer, the payment is to be realized. But sometimes even these bills are also discounted, because transit period and collection period involves about 10 days, 15 days, or even longer also. Even demand bills are also, paid by the buyers or by the receivers of the goods, maybe after some time, at least the transit time. or maybe 3 days, 5 days. And if the seller is in urgency to have the money, even demand bills also can be, which are called DP bills, can also be discounted. But mostly what happens is the documents against accepted, which have the usage period, that is a credit period, starting from the 15 days, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. The generally maximum period allowed is 90 days by the banks. So this period is mentioned in the bill that after, please pay, that language says, please pay to Accent company after a period, as on such date or after a period of 60 days, 90 days for value received. For value received is basically a denotion of the underlying transaction, that you have received the value of the goods or services, and for that this bill is being made, and you have to pay it after 30 days, this amount to such and such party or his order. It says to Accent company or his order. So the bill can be endorsed also. The legal implication of this is that the bill of exchange, if it is payable to Accent company, the Accent company can endorse it in favor of the bank. That is how the bank will discount it and get the ownership of the bill. And then on the date of realization, the bank will get the realized money and adjust the account. So bill becomes a very secure document for the bank, because there is an underlying transaction. First of all, there is a clear liability of the acceptor. The bill has to be accepted, of course, by the drawee of the bill, who has to make the payment after the due date. So the drawee or the person who is responsible for making payment of the bill on due date is clear, named. The date of payment is also clear. The amount is clear. It's certain. So it is easier for transacting this kind of a transaction by the banks. As I said earlier, not much documentation is required in this. Of course, there are supporting documents for fixing the credit line by the banker to the borrower for different purposes. And bill of exchange, discounting of bills also is one of the credit lines which is approved, for which the entire documentation takes place. But let me tell you, even if there is no documentation, no supporting documentation, that is the demand promissory note or hypothecation agreement or pledge agreement or any other guarantee or security, bill of exchange itself alone is a valid security for taking legal action, because it's a negotiable instrument and fixes the liability and obligations of the parties. So that is how I feel that this is the most simplest way of raising finance without any other documentation. Of course, in case of TReDS and discounting limit from the banks, they ask for all these documentation because they fix up the limit for a longer term. But if you really want to discount a bill alone, a single bill or maybe one-time transaction, there is no need for any other documentation. It's a good security. It is part of the working capital. In fact, it can be assessed as a part of the working capital, total working capital when the assessment is made. The receivables financing is also a part of that, which is called financing for credit sales of the goods. And bills discounting becomes part of that credit sales. There are challenges, of course, we will know from our distinguished colleagues. There are challenges and there are difficulties also in this kind of bill financing. It is not that everything is positive. Challenges in terms of, sometimes the accommodation bills happen to be, circulating, and they are presented for discounting before the banks. Sometimes it becomes difficult. Accommodation bill is where there is no transaction, underlying transaction. It's only to accommodate one party to raise the money, and they, both the parties then have some benefits out of that, maybe share the money or And on the due date, the drawee makes the payment. Although there is no, there may not be any problem at a later date as regards the payment is concerned. But in the beginning, the security value is nothing. It's an accommodation bill, so there is no security in that. So these kinds of challenges also, and in terms of language in the bills of exchange, sometimes, the language is not as per the format, so it can be rejected. And dishonor of the bills. It may happen that the party who has accepted the bill for payment on due date at a later stage may not agree or may not honor their commitment on due date. So then what happens? Because you don't have any physical asset or the collateral security except the guarantee or so these are some of the challenges also in case of bill discounting, but I still maintain that the bill financing or bill discounting is one of the easiest way of raising finance. In our country where there is a large gap in availability of credit for the MSME sector, more and more instruments of financing would be surely helpful and bill financing through TReDS, which is a new way of raising finance over the platform, electronic platform, is welcome. And TReDS has been, in fact, expanding ever since its establishment. So we will know about TReDS also from our distinguished colleague who is available from TReDS. So let me now start requesting my panelists. First, Mr. Rajendra Kumar Sinha ji, who is a very experienced banker, having worked with State Bank of India for a long time, headed the SME vertical for quite some time, and is now associated with a number of institutions. He was founder secretary of the Advisory Council on Training and Research in SBI at State Bank Academy also. So he has been into academic and teaching also. He has published over 60 plus papers and articles in reputed journals and magazines. He is professor and chairperson Center of Excellence in Banking in Jagdish Sheth School of Management, as Priyanka also mentioned. It's a very reputed institution. So a very experienced banker, finance man, and having seen the entire ecosystem of financing to the MSMEs, Mr. Rajendra Kumar Sinha, over to you for your discussions. You are on mute. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Kumar, and good afternoon, everyone, Mr. Akhilesh Kumar, and all the participants of this webinar on a very relevant topic which Dr. Kumar just highlighted, invoice and bill discounting. Now, the fact is that despite continuous efforts for MSME related activities, still we find from the factual resources that there is a gap of credit gap of 20 to 25 lakh crore. Still on the formal platform, MSMEs have to come, especially micro and small enterprises. Now, as of now, about 2.7 crore, 2.69 crore MSMEs are registered on Udyam platform out of 6.33 crore MSMEs, which is the latest data available. Now, given this background, the invoice discounting, if we view globally, then over last couple of periods, the rise of e-commerce, technological advancements, and awareness has given acceleration to this discounting market, invoice discounting market globally, other countries, developed and developing countries. Now, as far as Indian context is there, this TReDS receivable discounting system, it has come as a RBI regulated initiative, and it is a digital platform. Now, here, the intent is for innovative facilitation of financing and management of a receivable for MSMEs. It was introduced in 2014, and during the last about 10 years, it has seen its growth, and more so now, as I said, that about 2.7 crores MSMEs are registered on Udyam platform, and RBI has a guidance that all such MSMEs, Udyam registered, they should come on the TReDS platform. It will be helpful for them. And currently, RBI has licensed 3 bodies for doing this activity of invoice discounting. One is the Receivable Exchange of India, and Mr. Akhilesh is on the panel. Invoice Smart is another one, and M1 Exchange is the another third one. Now, as far as the mechanism, the process for onboarding of buyers and sellers on TReDS platform, there is a standardized process mechanism for onboarding them. And as we know that KYC is the basic document. So one-time onboarding process, so all entities, buyers and sellers have to provide KYC related document and other resolution documents specific to the authorized personnel of buyer and seller, because here IDs and passwords for TReDS are provided. And it has to be kept in view that KYC documentation has already been done with banks with whom they will be having accounts. So it has to be synchronous, those documentation. So this is important. And apart from that, TReDS has got one-time documentation. And so this is different from what we find in, as Dr. Kumar was pinpointing, in traditional discounting method, where for each buyer, sellers, such kind of documentation execution take place. But here, one time only when the onboarding is there on TReDS platform, then the documentation is there. And these documents are master agreement between the financial, because there will be banks and financial institutions on this platform, which ultimately will be doing the financing of the accepted invoice. Then master agreement between the buyers and TReDS, master agreement, and then between sellers and TReDS stating the terms and conditions. Also, here it is important that, as Dr. Kumar was also mentioning, that since these receivables are a component of working capital cycle, so the finance, if they have obtained from banks, there should not be overlapping when they are coming for on the TReDS discounting, because here the assignment goes in favor of the financial for the invoice which has to be discounted. So that's an important aspect, and there is an assignment agreement which is executed between MSME seller and the financial one time. So all these documents remained in the custody of TReDS. And coming to the practical steps for implementing invoice discounting. So first step is the registration for suppliers and buyers on the TReDS platform. Then invoice uploading is done by MSME supplier with supporting documents. And then the validation takes place on TReDS platform and buyer's acceptance is obtained. Once the buyer acceptance is there, then the next step comes for the financial institutions bidding for them. And whichever is the best bid, which the seller considers, that goes ahead with. And in about, Mr. Akhilesh will also say within about 24 hours, the payment after the acceptance takes place to the supplier. And coming finally to the payment from buyer on the due date, whatever the due date, whether it is a usance bill or the demand, the payment takes place accordingly or timely. So this way the process takes, and then obviously already as Dr. Kumar said that there are benefits, no doubt about it. So the timely payment, which is one of the major issues for MSMEs, that it affects their whole operating cycle of the business if the receivable payments gets delayed. So here is a platform, digital platform, that too from a regulator, Reserve Bank of India, which assures timely payments. And obviously access to working capital is there. And more importantly, that the interest rates here will be 8%, 7%. Those kind of interest rates normally we don't see when it comes to working capital financing. So competitive rates are there. And because here this process is a digital platform, so administrative cost is also reduced, and there is transparency in the system. And more importantly, when the payments take place of invoices timely for the MSMEs, obviously there is a build-up of their credit worthiness, which helps them in obviously boosting their credit history. So this system, obviously, it's very relevant for MSMEs, and it has, as I said, a regulatory framework apart from negotiable instruments act in which the bill of exchange is covered. This platform is governed under Payment and Settlement System Act 2007, and it is a secure platform. And as far as I understand that more than 72,000 MSMEs from more than 1,800 cities have come on this platform. There are more than 4,300 buyers and more than 75 lakh invoice since beginning with the impressive sum of 2,40,000 crores that have been settled over. And another interesting aspect is there that the invoice amount even ranges from rupees 100 to rupees 20 plus crores. So for micro enterprises which have say invoices in few thousands, for them also the comfort level is there. And good thing is this, that 55% of MSMEs they on this platform come from Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. That is less than 50,000 of population. And further, 85% of MSMEs which have been onboarded are micro and small enterprises. So therefore, there is a lot more scope, especially for micro enterprises, which are more than 6 crores out of this 6.33 crores. And there more of awareness, which I'm sure this platform like Power to SME is providing. So this initiative should be taken advantage of, and they should come and get onboarded on TReDS platform. And as I said, that RBI encourages those Udyam registered MSMEs, they should come Udyam registered MSMEs and get onboarded on TReDS platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Sinaji. Thank you for your very clear, very exhaustive, presentation about this bill discounting as well as TReDS. In fact, one of the other important element which is attached with TReDS is that the facility which the TReDS provides to under the Factoring Act, and that there is no recourse against the seller. In normal bill discounting, there is a recourse by the bank, by the financing institution against the seller to whom they have paid the money. after discounting of the bill.
Yes.
But in
Very
case of
correct.
TReDS,
Yeah.
but in case of TReDS, the Factoring Act is applicable, and there is no recourse against the seller.
Yeah. That's important.
Would you like to say something about it, Sinha?
Yeah, certainly. That's very important. Once the invoice is accepted by the buyer, thereafter, there is no recourse. When the financier bids after acceptance of invoice by buyers, and the seller accepts any of the bids, and the payment takes place, there is no recourse thereafter to the seller once the invoice is accepted by the buyer. So this is a very good aspect for the sellers, which has to be understood, that thereafter it will be between the financier and the buyer and the TReDS platform as the different agreements have been executed. So that gives a lot of comfort for the seller once the payment is received.
Yes. So with that input, let me now go to Mr. Akhilesh Kumar, who is the regional head north of RXIL, Receivables Exchange of India, which is one of the 3 TReDS platforms approved by the Reserve Bank of India, and RXIL is doing a wonderful job. In fact, it's a very renowned institution, backed by very renowned institutions, which Akhilesh ji would tell us, and he is being a senior officer. And I would also like to know, Akhilesh ji, if you can, during your discussion, if you can inform us, because there was a proposal by TReDS that a kind of reverse factoring also would start, that they will start financing the, MSMEs, even if the bills are not accepted by their buyers. So is there any possibility of doing that also? Because problem is that there are a lot of constraints in buyers registration. They are not, many of them are not willing, and due to which their MSMEs are not able to get their bill discounted, because the bill has to be accepted by the buyer. And if the buyer is not there on TReDS, the acceptance will not happen and TReDS will not finance. So I understand there was a possibility earlier being discussed that even if the acceptance is not received, the TReDS platform would start discounting the bills of the sellers based on their own, liability. Once they accept the liability, that is
Really
with
sorry.
recourse financing, with recourse. So can you
Really
please?
sorry.
Yeah.
Really sorry. Due to rain, I am facing today my Wi-Fi network
No, you
issues.
can just start. You can just start. You are
Really sorry
okay
about
now.
that.
Yes.
Really sorry. So I think good afternoon to all. So a lot of input given by Mr. Kumar sir and Sinha sir about the bill discounting and TReDS platform. So we'll give a bit idea about RXIL and TReDS platform, how this is useful for MSME. And good point, Kumar sir have said that basically TReDS is a without recourse MSME vendor. It's the biggest upper hand for MSME vendor. And the amount with getting discounted, it's from tier 2, tier 3 city. A lot of they are from tier 2, tier 3 cities on the platform. So RXR basically a joint venture of SIDBI and NSE. We have 30% stake from SIDBI and 30% stake from NSE, and backed by a State Bank of India with 16% stakeholding, and backed by ICICI Bank with 16% shareholding, and Yes Bank with 8% shareholding. So we have started our transaction from Jan 17, and monthly volume we are doing approx 6,000 crore per month. So you can see how big and how we are growing and supporting to the MSME. It's not only TReDS platform. We are a part of. We are contributing the Indian economy by supporting the MSME to get their payment timely from their large corporate.
I think there is some connectivity
Yes,
issue.
Yes, sir. There is
All right. Meanwhile, as he joins, one point which Dr. Kumar was mentioning, that reverse this factoring, that even if invoice not accepted, I think the initiative there is that this insurance companies now coming on the TReDS platform, that will give a lot of comfort to the financial institutions, banks, financial institutions. When insurance companies come, insurance takes place. So that will give acceleration to this idea which Dr. Kumar had mentioned. And hopefully that comes soon.
Yes, and in any case, see, if the bankers are sitting with a lot of funds, they are already working through TReDS. Now, if there is no acceptance of the buyer, seller MSMEs have their own credibility, credit rating. Akhilesh, are you back?
Yeah, sorry, it's a
Yeah,
bad luck.
please go ahead. Yes, complete your statement.
Okay, so I was there. It's without request MSME vendor, and approx 6,000 crore we are doing monthly. So we are contributing to Indian economy and supporting the MSME to get payment from their buyer. So it's a good platform, and it's mandated by Government of India for all the 500 crore, more than 500 crore company. They have to get themselves registered on TReDS platform, and mandatory for the PSU. And recently development, as you Kumar sir, you said you have proposed to ministry to do its mandatory for more than 250 crore turnover company. So it's already in discussion with the ministry. Last week we have met with the ministry also. And what information we have got, it's under discussion with the ministry, and hope we'll get good news in a month from the ministry. And there are a lot of
maybe in the coming budget, hopefully. Because there are some changes. I think the Mr. Akhlesh's frame is frozen, so maybe the internet connection again is causing a difficulty. So I came to know today itself that there are many proposals concerning the MSME sector financing, which are under consideration with the government. And this also might be one of the proposals. Another proposal which we had given to the ministry, I can mention that is also under consideration, is increasing the NPA. You see, Sinha Sahab, do you remember we have been talking about increasing the period of NPAs from 90 days to 180 days because of the difficulty being faced by MSMEs. So that also...
Yeah, I know that in some of my interactions in Chennai also, there are some office bearers in the association bodies. They were talking about even pre-COVID period. COVID period, it was given twice, but they were talking about. But one thing is there that yes, that RBI has to take into account that how they want to keep a clean book, and how they are looking at this aspect. But maybe because micro enterprise, one thing I would like to mention here, that it is a priority sector area, financing for banks, where 40% financing bank have to do priority sector banking. And for micro enterprises especially, there is a 7.5%. So that financing has to be done. So 7.5%, I think TReDS platform, it is another opportunity for taking an exposure, because these are some mandatory guidelines from RBI where they have to adhere. So some of these initiatives which you are talking about certainly will be helpful for financiers also.
So Mr. Akhilesh Kumar was back. I think I could see him having joined again.
I'm really sorry, sir. Really sorry.
Please go ahead. Yes, please go ahead. No, it doesn't matter. Internet is not in your control. We can understand. So
really
we are happy that you keep, as and when you are there, please keep talking. Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to connect with all the channel, with mobile, with Wi-Fi network, with other device. But
you can connect through your mobile also. I think.
From mobile also, I'm getting issue today. Actually, it's raining outside, so I mean.
Oh, so you are okay now? Please carry on. Even without your opening your video, you can still talk. So I think he's again disconnected. Sinha sir, are you there?
Yeah. Maybe.
Nilesh ji, are you able to hear us?
Yeah.
Are you able to hear us? Hear me? Yeah, he is joining again. We'll wait for a few seconds.
So am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, please go ahead. Yes, we are waiting for
Sorry,
you.
sir, if disconnected, now please you all continue. I'm getting
Yeah.
disturbed already to me now.
No, please carry on.
Okay, so it's a TReDS is basically supporting a lot to MSME to get their payment through all of their receivables through the large corporate. And recent development by ministry, they did mandatory for PSU. It's already defined by the ministry. And recent development, they guided the PSU company, if any vendor uploads invoice for them for getting discount, so they have to accept within 15 days. They have to take any action within 15 days.
Good.
It's a good support for MSME if they are supplying to any PSU, because a lot of payments are getting stuck in PSU sector. Private corporates are giving payment on 45 days, 50 days, 60. They are getting payment through their private corporate, but maximum payment getting stuck in the PSU corporate whom the MSME they are supplying. So ministry came with a notification that if any PSU, any MSME uploading invoice on the platform to get the discount, you have to take action within 15 days. So it's the biggest input or recent development in this TReDS platform. Either they have to accept the invoice within 50 days, either they have to reject the invoice. And these all tracked by the ministry. Ministry is asking the monthly or quarterly data from all the PSU, what discounting you are doing through the platform, what invoices you are accepting when your vendor is uploading on the platform. So all the things are getting tracked by the ministry. Okay, they have guided to the PSU. You have to organize quarterly seminar with your MSME vendor to educate them about the TReDS platform. So it's the biggest input, biggest development we can say in last quarter for the sector. And second thing, the measure, if any vendor uploads invoice for any PSU, they have to do their payment through TReDS only. If any vendor upload invoice. Okay. So these all are the support for MSME. It's a good platform. If you jointly say for all the three platforms, so approx 18,000 to 19,000 crore volume are doing on monthly basis. Okay, and RXIL did 1 lakh crore in till inspection, and monthly we are doing 6,000 crore. So you can see how we are growing, and this growing shows that we are supporting to MSME. 6,000 crore is directly going to MSME vendor. Okay, its benefits of you can say for banks, it's come under PSL. The MSME unit getting rate on the basis of their corporate, and also it's the without recourse to MSME vendor. You can say the lending charge of any MSME is approx 10%, 11% if they go bilateral limit for any bank. They have to give collateral to the bank, they have to give document to the bank. But on the platform, if they are supplying to any AA rated corporate, any PSU corporate, they will get rate from 6.50 to 7%. No bank can give any this rate to any MSME if they are going bilateral limit, and they are getting payment within a day. They will get, if they upload invoice today, if they got accepted by their buyer the same day, they can get a bid on same day from the multiple banks with low rate of interest. They will accept that bid, best bid, and they will get a payment within 24 hours, means next working day. So how fast this is and how much they are supporting this platform and supporting to MSME, you can see from this. So that's from my side, sir. Any questions or any input if you want, I can give. And recent development, we have signed agreement with lot of state government. So state government are also guided by the central ministry. You have to register on TReDS platform. You have to support your MSME for timely payment. So we are doing good business with TN government, Tamil Nadu government. We have signed agreement with Maharashtra government, MP government. We are in touch with the Delhi government. So a lot of state governments has also signed agreement with all the three TReDS platform to support the MSME for the timely payment.
Good. No, I just wanted to check with you, Akhilesh, whether that issue of reverse factoring,
Yeah.
that is financing to MSMEs on the basis of their bills without even acceptance by buyers, is there any headway on that proposal also?
Sir, there are two methods, one is factoring and other is reverse factoring. Okay. So basic difference between factoring and reverse factoring. In factoring cases, the interest will be borne by the MSME vendor. In reverse factoring cases, the interest will be borne by the buyer. Okay, so when buyer want to pay to their vendor, if they are having 45-day payment terms, so they will upload invoice on 42nd, 43rd days, and it will get discounted. The vendor will get payment on 45th day, and they can take extended credit period. So in reverse factoring, buyer is uploading invoice, so there is no mandatory for acceptance from the seller because liability will be on buyer side. So if buyer is uploading invoice, so acceptance of seller is not mandatory. But when any seller is uploading invoice, the acceptance from buyer is mandatory on the platform. Due to the recourse on the buyer side.
So in any case, both are without recourse to the seller.
Yeah, both are without.
Both are without recourse, and the only difference is that one, the interest is borne by the seller. The other way is interest is borne by the buyer. Basically, in the reverse factoring, the buyer is making a request on the TReDS for discounting of the bill.
Correct.
Whereas the bills are being uploaded by the seller, but the financing is being done by the banks to the buyer, and interest is also charged according to them.
Correct.
So I think you have given some very good inputs, like 15 days acceptance, ceiling, which the government has advised, will play a very big role, because otherwise they were taking longer time in accepting the bill and defeating the purpose of TReDS. So this will be very helpful. You mentioned about PSUs not coming, to the expected, level of efficiency in dealing with TReDS. I can understand the problems with PSUs. First of all, PSUs, some of the PSUs lack financial resources, and they depend on government allocations, grants, and all those things.
Correct.
So they are not very enthusiastic of, committing payment on a due date.
Correct.
So
no, this issue came with that PSU, sir, who are waiting for the payment from the government, like NBCC, HSCC, the infra company. They have to wait for the payment for the government. But the PSU like BHEL, NTPC, ONGC, IOCL, they don't have to wait for the payment from the government.
Yeah, they are flush with funds. They don't have any liquidity problem. ONGC and GAIL and BHEL.
But these PSU are doing good on trades.
They must be doing good on trades.
Monthly volume approx 400 to 500 crore from BHEL.
Yes.
You have started doing good volume with GAIL, ONGC, IOCL. So these all companies are PSU are doing good volume on the platform.
We have also made a request to the Reserve Bank of India, a proposal which we have sent, suggesting that those corporates and companies, private or public, whatever, when they go to TReDS to register, they should be given additional funding support to the extent of 50% of the total bills accepted by them over TReDS. This will help the liquidity position of the buyers, that is corporates.
This is coming for the PSU. This is coming from the PSU.
They don't have the liquidity, and that is why sometimes they claim that they have to depend on other, sources of funds from the government.
For GEM, they have circular, you have to buy this much procurement from GEM. Percentage of. For TReDS also, they are doing, if you are purchasing 1,000 crore from MSME, you have to do their payment 500 crore through TReDS only.
Yes.
So it's already discussed in the ministry.
Yes. So at least they will be given additional funding support from their bankers under the regular line of credit to pay the obligations under the TReDS. This will help to an extent that the TReDS platform will be utilized by the MSMEs and the buyers in a greater way, helping the MSMEs in the country. So, Sinaji, you want to add something? Otherwise, we are touching the time, and I would like to take some questions.
Yeah, going forward, two things. That one, this insurance companies becoming active on the TReDS platform, it will give solution and support to financials. Correct. We have to provide support, comfort level to financials.
Right.
Also. And then, yes, the buyers, especially the PSUs you are mentioning, who are not onboarding on this TReDS platform because of their liquidity crunch not that being comfort level. So some kind of support system for them coming up, how the RBI comes out, that will be helpful for this TReDS platform to become inclusive and exhaustive, and that will be helpful going forward.
So I don't think there are any questions in that. I can't see anything in the chat. But let me, Priyanka, do you have any questions?
So we have requested our participants to share the questions with us. But so far, I can't see any questions in the chat box.
So I think I can conclude the discussion. Sinaji, unless you want to say something. Akhileshji, you want to say something?
No, sir. All the input insurance part also, sir, has covered. We have already signed agreement with as well as insurance, and all the three platforms are doing agreement with the insurance company to give safe hand to the financer.
Right. No, I will only sum up now is that bill discounting is a wonderful way of raising finance. And on top of that, the bill discounting through TReDS is an icing on the cake, because your recourse to your own liability gets obviated. The banks are not going to come back to the seller, MSME, who is discounting the bills, who is lodging the bills for any claim at a later date if the bill is not paid by the buyer. So that is the one very important factor which is very useful in case of bill discounting over the TReDS platform. There is another takeaway that people don't know, in fact, how to utilize the TReDS platform. I would say on behalf of TReDS, Akhileshji, I can speak on your behalf, that TReDS people are very helpful. If you phone the TReDS platform, maybe Akhilesh Kumarji from RXIL, they will help you in registering and training you as to how you lodge the bills over the TReDS platform and take the advantage.
Right, sir. Correct.
You can, I think, circulate your mobile number also through our office. Priyanka, you can circulate the number to all the participants at a later stage, and so that people who are joining our session can really take advantage of the TReDS. See, once they register, even if they don't need it today, they might need it tomorrow.
Correct.
And in any case, the rate of interest is very substantially less on TReDS.
Correct.
As Akhileshji mentioned, that it is somewhere around 6 to 7%, 6, 7, 8%, depending upon the rating of the buyer, credit rating of the buyer. So it may go down. In any case, it will be lesser than what they are raising from the market or from the other banks. It is going to be much less. So I would say that today's takeaway for the participants is that they should know about TReDS. They should get registered over the TReDS platform and start lodging the bills. They will see the benefits of bill discounting over the TReDS platform in the time to come. In any case, let me conclude. The future is of digital operations.
Right, sir.
This physical lodging of bills, preparing the paperwork, document, all this is going to be, replaced by the digital method of doing all these works in the future. There is some question coming from precise engineers. Is there any limit? I don't think there is any limit.
There is no limit. You can discount any amount.
You can discount any amount. You can discount the bill of 10 rupees to crore of rupees or 10 crore of rupees. So there is no limit. Depending upon, discounting will happen only when there is a credibility check of the buyer, that is the corporate or the buyer company, and their credit rating, etc. will be checked. For the seller, there is no limit. You can lodge any amount of bills, any number of bills.
Correct.
So with this, I think since there is no more question, and I give it finally to Mr. Sinha to conclude. Sinha sir?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Kumar. I will counsel all MSMEs who are there as a participant that one thing I have always been talking, Udyam registration brings multiple benefits. And Udyam registration, RBI encourages and you should join this TReDS platform as early as possible. And there are 3 companies licensed. One of them is represented today by Mr. Akhilesh. And they will do the hand holding. The contact number, if you go on any of their websites, it's given. So you're making a call, they will help you in how the process of onboarding is there, documentation and all. And also going forward, how you can do the uploading of your invoices. So come forward and take leverage this initiative for the betterment of your financial performance.
So just I want to add one thing here.
Yeah,
So
please.
once you register on the platform, now suppose you are getting registered for any suppose you are supplying to BHEL and you are getting registered yourself on the RXL for BHEL. So once you register yourself on platform, you can discount your bills for any corporate who is registered with us. No need to register yourself again and again for all the different corporates. Once you register on the RXIL, you can discount your bills with n number of buyer who are registered with RXIL as a buyer. So no need to register again and again. Just you have to register once on the platform. You can get this benefit for n number of buyer whom you are supplying your products.
Good. I think there is some more question, Priyanka.
Yes, sir. There is one more question from Precise Engineers. How much charge are there? How much charge are there suppliers have to pay to agency for this discounting?
There are no such charges. Only the rate of interest what bank will quote you have to pay, and there is some transaction charge that vary from 0.10% to 0.25 to 3%.
0.01%?
0.10 to 0.1520 depends upon the corporate for which you are.
0.10 to 0.1.5 or 0.20
Yeah,
of the amount of bill discounted.
correct.
Yeah. So that is the charge. That answers the question, in fact, which was raised by the company. Is that okay if you have any other clarification? Is there any further clarification required, Priyanka? How much charges are there suppliers have to pay to agency for this discounting?
Giving an example, sir. Suppose bank is quoting a rate of 7%. Okay. So we are charging 20 paisa. Suppose we are charging your platform for 20 paisa. So your rate will be 7.20 overall costing for the discounting. That will 7.
So these charges will be in addition to the rate of interest. 7 means 7.20.
Correct.
Yeah. So it's
But
a
again,
minor charge. It's a minor charge.
But again, the fact it is that inclusive of all these charges, compared to the traditional interest rate, it is much below. So it remains advantageous.
Correct.
Priyanka, any more questions?
Yes, sir. Is it mandatory the buyer got registered?
Yeah, this is mandatory for all the PSU to get themselves registered on TReDS platform as a buyer. And the private corporate whose turnover is more than 500 crore, they have to mandatory themselves register on the TReDS platform. It's a gathered notification by Government of India. I think in October 18, Mr. Prime Minister Narendra Modi declared this in an event and did mandatory for private corporates and PSU.
Yes. So while it is mandatory in terms of Government of India's advisory order, the GO, for 500 crores and above companies and PSUs, I would say that even other companies also, even less than 500 crores, who are buying from MSMEs, they also stand to benefit if they register. The reason being...
There is another question, sir. There is another question here. What is the rate of interest?
Yeah, rate of
please tell.
interest.
Okay.
Yes.
So rate of interest depends upon the corporate whom you are supplying your products. Rate depends upon the rating of the company whom you are supplying your products. AA, AAA, A-rated corporates are getting rate approx 6.50 to 8%. If the corporate you are supplying any PSU like BHEL, NTPC, they are getting rate of 6.70, 6.80. annually. If you are supplying to any A-rated private corporates, you will get a rate of 7.50 to 8%. So rate vary and depends upon the rating of the company whom you are supplying your products. So
Right.
rate is not fixed here. Rate is not fixed here. This is the main USP of this platform. There
And
will
in
be
this
multiple
case,
bidder. There will be multiple bidder on the platform. So all the
yeah,
banks will bid on the invoice uploaded by you, and the best bid will be accepted by you. So
yes,
you will have option to accept your best bid.
yes. So these are some of the advantages that while there will be different banks offering you different rates, the seller has the choice, the MSME has the choice to accept which bid. Some bank may say 7.5, some other bank may say 7.2, some other bank may say 6.5. So you will have the choice. You will accept 6.5, naturally, the lowest one. The recording of this webinar can be shared with the attendees.
Yes, sir. In fact, we will be putting it on our social media pages on YouTube. So people can.
So anybody can go through and
Yes,
check
sir.
anytime.
Yes, sir.
So I think we come to the close of this because we have exceeded our time. So this was a wonderful discussion with our expert panelists, Mr. Rajendra Sinha ji and Akhilesh Kumar ji from RXIL. And I think we have been able to clarify and inform our participants as to what is bill discounting and how it can be taken advantage of, especially through utilization of TReDS, which is the latest system which has been introduced in the country. So in case there is any other clarification or information required, you can always write to Power to SME at the given address and seek any query. We will be happy to answer you for that. So I would like to thank Rajendra Sinha ji and Akhilesh Kumar ji, and also Priyanka and Sudha ji who have organized this program. So over to you, Priyanka. Over back to you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Priyanka, really sorry for my.
No issue, sir. We understand. We understand these technical glitches happen, so we don't have any control over this.
We would welcome you and love to have you even if with these problems, in a future date also.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so, thank you so much. I would like to thank all the panelists, Kumar sir, Dr. Sinha sir, Akhilesh sir, and to all the participants. And we have mentioned our contact number, our toll-free number, and the email ID in the chat box. So if anyone has any query or questions, you guys can always write to us. Our panelists will be happy to answer your questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.